I'm back with part 2 of the Amulet against Coronavirus extravaganza design party. I'm really happy you could be here with me. I hope you're safe and well and self-distancing and all that good stuff. So let's talk about the fun stuff now. So I have geeked out and got a lot to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'll start out showing you my notes from last week and my preliminary sketch, and then I'm going to show you all the things I found online. And through the magic of Photoshop, I'll show you final sketches, so you get a pretty good idea of what the final piece would look like. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so wait for it to come up. There we go. So these are the notes that I took last week during my last video. And we talked about, do I really think that an amulet will keep you from getting the coronavirus or COVID-19? No. However, I really do believe that amulets are great tools to keep positive thoughts top of mind, and positive thinking, positive thoughts actually help your immune system. So that's what I think this amulet is about, helping you stay positive, helping you be hopeful, helping you keep those positive thoughts top of mind so that your immune system helps you instead of fights against you. So we talked about the top of the list, Royal Sapphire. And just in case you weren't here last week, Royal Sapphire, according to the Crystal Bible, eliminates negative energies from the chakras and stimulates the third eye to access information for growth. This stone teaches responsibility for your thoughts and feelings. And I thought that would be a great stone to incorporate into this amulet, not only for its color, because saturated, beautiful royal blue sapphires are great because blue is naturally a color that we associate with healing. So that would be great to have in there. And also, I really enjoyed the thought of taking responsibility for your thoughts and the idea that if you're having a negative thought, if you're having a bad day, you have the power to change that. You have the power to change the way you think. So I thought that was a great starting point, and from there I researched some symbols. You can't read it, but this says Adinkra. Adinkra symbols? I swear to you, I know how to pronounce that. But actually, the Adinkra symbols are actually a group of African symbols. And I showed you a really specific one, which we'll get to in a second, that I incorporated into the design of the amulet. And then I also looked at labyrinths and shield knot and circle knots. Those are both Celtic knots. I used the circle knot in the design. And again, I'll get to that more in a second. But anyway, so this was our starting point. This is where we were after last week. And I'll show you my preliminary sketch and get into all the fun stuff. Okay, so here's my preliminary sketch. And again, this is where the sapphire would go, right in the middle. And then these heart leafy type designs right here, that is part of the African symbol that I'm going to talk about in a second. So again, this is really preliminary. This is a rough sketch. I just wanted to give you a map for the things I'm going to show you. And so I'm showing you the front of the amulet right now, and this is what it would look like from the side. So see how like my pendant has some depth, some thickness to it? This pendant will have that as well. There will be a front and a back to this amulet because I always like designing the back of jewelry as much as I like designing the front. So since we're in imagination land and I can do whatever I want, why not do both? So yes, this pendant will be round and it'll have depth to it. So I want you to think of it like a donut. So it'll have thickness and it'll have a hole in the middle, except that instead of there being a hole, there'll be a sapphire. And we'll get to that in a second as well. Okay, so first, let me talk about the sapphire that will go into our hypothetical pendant. So I'm going to show you some sapphires from one of my favorite places online to source sapphires, Earth's Treasury. In my mind, they have the best American mined sapphires that money can buy right now, so I don't mind featuring them at all. And so these are not royal blue sapphires. These are labeled under sky blue in Earth's Treasury. They have so many sapphires. They have like 10 different kinds of blues. These sapphires are labeled sky blue. And you can see like they're pale. Some of them have like this one up here has a lot of gray in it. This one has a lot of gray in it. I just wanted to give you an idea about the incredible spectrum there are in sapphires. So these are sky blue. These are the sapphires listed under royal blue. If it'll come up, I can show you. There we go. Okay, so these are the sapphires listed under royal blue. You can see that they're really lush and saturated and deep and so beautiful. And so since we're playing in Imagination Land and we're not limited by budget, this is the sapphire that I would put into our imaginary amulet against the coronavirus. I just loved how out here at the edges you could see some lighter colors coming through. I'll bet in person those lighter colors have a really great sparkle. And also this sapphire is huge. It's a carat and a third, so it's almost 7 millimeters wide. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but in gemstone world, 7 millimeters is ginormous. So this sapphire would be so big and sparkly and lush and blue. It would be spectacular. So that is the sapphire. If I had my pick, that's what would go into the amulet. All right, and now let me show you the symbol on the front. Okay, here we go, Adinkra brand. And actually, I left the website that I found these symbols on visible because honestly, there were like 50 different symbols and they were all beautiful to look at and had some really deep meanings. And also, the other thing I liked about this website is you can click to listen to the pronunciation. So the symbol that I showed you last week that I would choose to incorporate into this amulet was called the Nyame Dwa, which is a symbol of God's presence and protection. And if you read the little description below, it's all about how people would build an altar in times of trouble or in times of gatherings, and that would be the place where the gathering and God would come together, like a meeting of the minds with divine presence. And I'm like, that is so powerful and beautiful. So the more I learned about this symbol, the more I'm like, oh, that would be a perfect choice to incorporate into this amulet. And so again, if you want to learn more about all these gorgeous African symbols, please visit adinkrabrand.com because they are all listed and you can learn more. But anyway, so this is the symbol that you'll see on the front of the pendant, and that's what it means. Tree of God, a symbol of God's protection and presence. It's where God and the masses come together to have a meeting. And again, I told you that this pendant was going to have a front and a back. So I'm going to incorporate this symbol into the back of the pendant. And this is a variation on a Celtic circle knot. Because like the more I listen to the news, the more I hear about what's going on, I really do feel like this situation calls for coming together. And so I loved the idea of incorporating a Celtic knot because Celtic knots are all about interconnectedness. A lot of the designs are based on the intricate tree root systems in Ireland and about how even though we feel separate, we really aren't that separate. So I really wanted to incorporate a symbol of interconnectedness and coming together and cooperation. And so I felt like the circle knot would be perfect. And so how would I incorporate that? So I told you to think of the pendant like a donut, and it is like a donut. My pendant has the depth. If you think of the front of the pendant having a layer of metal on top and the back being hollow, what I would do, whoops, I just dropped my prop. Give me 1 second. Okay, so what I would do is print the circle knot on a piece of acetate or transparency film. So you would get the design, but you would also be able to see through it. And then fill the back with some beautifully colored resin to pick up the blue from the sapphire. So you'd have the symbol, but you'd also have the blue, because if the symbol was printed on transparency, you'd be able to see the symbol, you'd be able to see through it too, which would be so nice. So this is just to give you an idea of what it might look like. This is where the sapphire would come through again. Like, you just think of it like a donut. There's a tube, and at the top of the tube is the sapphire, and it's open in the back. But then the rest would be resin and beautiful symbol. And so I think that's all I have to show you for the various parts that I'm bringing together. So let me do the reveal and show you the final sketch so you can get an idea of what this thing might look like in real life. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, so here's the front, and then again, here's that beautiful African symbol we talked about. And just so you know, like, the front would be 2 layers of metal coming together. So you'd have the top, and then I would cut this beautiful symbol out of a separate piece of sterling silver and solder that to the bottom. So there'd be solder that to the top plate, sorry, misspoke. So there'd be the 2 layers of metal, and I would use a chemical agent to make the silver black and then bring the top plate back out to silver. So it would be really, there'd be a lot of light play and layering. It'd be so nice. So that's what the top would look like. And again, this is the back. So you'd have a little bit of the blue coming through there, but again, it would be at the other end of the pendant, so not a lot, just a little bit. And then the transparency with the blue resin. So it would be so fabulous and different. You would have the front of the pendant that was black and white and stark, and then you would turn it over and there would be all of this color and vibrancy and hope. It would be so beautiful. And then I decided, instead of doing a chain, I thought about doing some cotton cord. So let me pull up this image for you. Yeah, there we go. So if you look, my pendant here is on cotton cord, and it comes in spools like this, and I found this beautiful shade of blue that I thought would go so well with the blue theme we have going on. And I like it because I mean, I could do a clasp if I wanted, but the thing I like about the cotton cord is that you can, well, I can, not you, I would make it. I can make it adjustable, so it can be worn at many different lengths, and it's just really easy to wear, take on and off, and not have to worry about. And also, I was thinking about materials for this amulet, and natural materials tend to be the best, because again, we're talking about changing mindset. Excuse me. Changing mindset. We're talking about energy and vibration and raising your vibration. And I've done a lot, since I'm a jeweler, I've done a lot of reading about different types of jewelry. And for amulets, natural materials are the best because they're the ones that absorb and transmit our vibration most effectively. So again, I like the cotton cord from a design standpoint because it's easy and nice and fun, and again, you get that beautiful blue. And then from like the energetic standpoint, it's good because it doesn't interrupt the transmission of those really positive thoughts, and hopefully helps the amulet do its job more effectively. And so I had originally, quick side note, something totally different for a second. I had originally thought about just doing our hypothetical amulet in complete sterling silver with the sapphire, but then I'm like, ooh, but gold would be so nice too. So I also did a second preliminary sketch. So you can see, like this part, oh, you can't see, sorry. This part and the top plate would still be sterling silver, but I would cut the symbol out of gold and the setting would be gold. So then there would be that even more lush color difference And again, you would get like the shimmer from the gold, and the blue would also be so nice. So I'm torn. I like both a lot. I'm not sure I would wear one over the other. I'm not sure if I have a favorite. Do I like the all silver versus silver and gold? I think it's really a preference thing. Um, if you prefer one over the other. Um, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how this design turned out either way, because it was so fun to put together and talk about. I hope that you guys enjoyed my explanation. I did geek out quite a bit. So if you have any questions about how this would go together, if you don't understand quite how it would look and you want a different explanation, I'd be happy to accommodate that request in a future video. Just leave me a comment and let me know. And again, I am Jenny Butterfield of Jenny Butterfield Designs. You can find me on Instagram at Jenny Butterfield Jewelry. You can find me on Facebook at Jenny Butterfield Designs. And that is all for today. I hope that you enjoyed the Amulet Against Coronavirus Part 2. If you have any ideas about the designs you would like to see next week, please give me a comment. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining me, and let me know your thoughts. I'd be really open to hearing what you guys think. Stay safe, be well out there, and have a great day.